Hey, folks. Hey, folks. Welcome. Welcome. Let me just set up here and change the mic. How are you doing, guys? How are you doing this evening? So hold on, let me just set up the channel here so I can see all of your comments. Hold on a second. Gonna make sure all of the platforms are up. And hold on, YouTube. I can't read the comments too well yet here, so give me a chance to bring it up. Okay, here we go. There we go. So let's see. So Arg is there, and Starlight, and Identifier, and Storm Brothers, and Kevin Ashburner. Hello, folks. Hello on YouTube. Okay, so who's I saw Enlighten Up and Great Gold and Mario, I think. Kaka. Yeah, who else did I miss here on Periscope? It's hard to catch everyone at the beginning because I'm playing music. So when I'm playing music, I can't. I was getting distracted already by reading the comments, and that usually affects my ability to improvise. So when I'm playing like that, that's improvising. I'm not reading any music, so I'm just making it up. So if you lose concentration, such as with reading comments, then I lose the turn of thought. So thank you, Starlight. Thank you, Starlight. Nobody likes my music, so that's okay. So that's fine. So tonight, hello, Goofy Mocha. So tonight we're gonna talk about MAC addresses. I got asked a few questions about MAC addresses, and I said, "Oh, maybe it's time to dig in a little bit deeper again because it's kind of a complex topic." And even though I have videos on it and some live streams, it's one of these new things that are just not easy to understand, and it's not easy to figure out what it is that you're trying to protect yourself against. In any case, yesterday was kind of some crazy discussions yesterday, guys. Some crazy discussions, and I was like, I was shocked at some of the comments that I heard over here. I really was. Considering what I do here, which is to come up with ways to protect you, and then I hear the thought process of some people that seem to indicate that they're okay with the surveillance and that we should just support it and just keep expecting the surveillance to occur, and that we can't avoid it, therefore we give up. Either we give up or we just cede them the power, and that is just so disturbing to me. So disturbing to me. So Chuck Hu, hello Chuck Hu. So I don't know if any one of you were disturbed by it. I was very disturbed by it. I was thinking about it, for a long time, and I said, we're zocked. After hearing that attitude, I said, we are zocked. We are zocked completely. So we don't need to give up. Why should we, Mother Zuckards? Yes, Mother Zuckards. So anyway, it's the problem is, and the problem is, it's depending on who you're talking to. There's an agenda, and specifically, with somebody like Randy Horton from Periscope. Well, we know Kelp's thoughts, so Kelp is not a surprise. But Randy, you have to understand, works for the companies that sell the surveillance systems. So Randy is on the other side. So you all know Randy from Periscope, and he's a nice guy. But just understand where he comes from. He works for the surveillance companies. So they sell those surveillance systems. In fact, that's what he does, selling them in Saudi Arabia. So obviously, from his point of view, his economic sustenance and his his entire job is based on promoting the surveillance state in any country. Anyone who would buy it. And if you worked for any of the, airspace contractors or, and computer companies, and you have government contracts like Amazon, Dell, HP, and all these guys, and, they have large groups of people who work in Washington, D.C. area, Maryland, Virginia, and their main purpose for being there is to get government contracts in any way possible, so they're actually part of the surveillance infrastructure of this country. So obviously, for those individuals, it's business for them. They don't really care that you're being surveilled. It's about making money, and they get hired, and you get hired to be an employee supposedly of companies like HP and Amazon and Dell and Booz Allen and so on. And in reality, you are assigned to work for the National Zucking Agency. So as you can see, there's interconnection between the corporate world and the intelligence community. And then in other countries, it's the same. So the same companies provide the same kind of technology in countries like Saudi Arabia, and like I said, Randy Horton is selling those systems. So it shouldn't surprise you that for them, surveillance is economic value to them, and the conclusion they made is that since it's a lost cause, I might as well make money from it. Well, that's not me, guys. I don't sell out. I'm here because I don't sell out. I'm here because I got to tell you what the truth is, and I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to make products that protect. And I'm glad to get confirmation from people like Snowden that what I'm doing is what he's doing. So he knows the internals of it. He knows what can be used to protect, and he's using that, and I'm using that, and like he himself made his own Tor router, so he even supported the Tor network by providing a bridge. So anyway, so I'm here to fight. I'm not here to give up and say I'm going to listen to other people say that, oh, it's a lost cause, like kelp, it's just the way it is. We should accept it. So we will inform you every day that I'm here doing this broadcast. I'm going to inform you, and let me tell you, it's quite a fight. It's quite a fight. So when I talk about surveillance kind of topics, YouTube dumps me, and the algorithm considers me to be a conspiracy theorist. It starts dumping the algorithm starts dumping my videos. So, just so you know. And I hate talking about surveillance kinds of topics because it means that I lose out on YouTube. I should stick to more standardized, discussions about Linux versus Windows and things like that, because then my numbers go up. But when I talk about surveillance, because it's such an important thing for you to know, I already know it, but you don't. So when I explain it to you, then YouTube will dump me, and then my numbers will go down. It just did. So it's a reflection. It's a reflection of the fact that there's an anti-conspiracy theory kind of attitude in the algorithm. So do you know about Unit? No, I don't know what that is, Smokey. Be careful what you say here, because there's a listening posted in the internet at AT&T peering stations in 8 locations around the country, and they have word sensing algorithms there that forward your text and your IP address all the way to Utah at the Utah data center. That is not a conspiracy theory again. This is again real. There's articles. This is in the press. If you want to see the articles, some of these are in, they're ignored. They're in press reports, and we see them. It's there, and it confirms what I say. But most of us just ignore it and say, the surveillance infrastructure is going to be here permanently, so let's not worry about it. So I could be so they'll say, oh, you'll sell us out. They'll sell us out. So, Doug Murray, let me just make a comment that's so interesting about the security of the United States. So we're supposed to be, a country that's worried about hackers coming in from Russia and North Korea and Iran and so on. And I just gave you a little speech about the 4 backdoors to your phone in 2 videos, which again, one of the videos that the algorithm decides it's not something that they want to encourage to be watched. Either that or people don't care. One of the two. It's either the algorithm or the people. Anyway, so given the fact that that there's so many backdoors that can be used by other governments to read our text messages, why do government officials text? Could you explain that to me? Why does Giuliani text? Why does this Volcker guy text? Why do people in the White House text? Now, I'm sure they do email too, like Hillary, but why do they text? When you can intercept a text with SS7. And that's Fritz, and that's security for the United States. That's security for the United States. It's incredible. So, When you walk into the White House, the first thing that they should do is confiscate all phones and say, you work here, you don't use any zucking phones. You know, you work in the White House, no sucking phones. I already told you so many backdoors on it, and yet they bring the spy devices right into the sucking government. Trying to be helpful, Mr. President. Trying to be helpful, Mr. Head of Director of the CIA and NSA. This is your sucking government. You're worried about security, and you don't implement basic things about security when you know you yourselves, NSA and CIA, you read all the emails because they're not encrypted, and yet you encourage the State Department to communicate in email. It's like, this is so sucked up. What does it take for somebody to capture email? I could sucking capture email with a Raspberry Pi. Okay, I mean, this is basic stuff. Unencrypted data floating around the internet on email. And some of you are saying, oh, I'm going to use Proton Mail. I'm going to be safe. It's like, suck. Do you understand how Proton Mail works? So you're going to email me, you have a Proton Mail and I don't, and you're going to email me and I'm supposed to get some protection? This is the kind of craziness that we have. Okay? So yes. So some of you made a comment. Yes, it's, talking about OPSEC, operational security, really bad in this government. And then we talk about security for us. And then people like Randy yesterday talking about the fact that we're being surveilled and all that. Yeah, but even our own government officials are being surveilled. By other people in government. So, which can be used, for blackmailing and any other purpose to get whatever they want. Like, we want to increase our budget. So that there was a big deal on new speech by somebody from the NSA that says we need to. The $60 billion you put into intelligence is not enough. We need more resources. So they want what do they want? $1 trillion? They want $1 trillion in intelligence? Oh, we don't surveil you enough. We already record the entire internet, but that's not good enough. We're already recording the entire internet. That's not good enough. So there you go. So anyway, this topic tonight is not about the surveillance state. That's not what this is about. We're going to go micro today. We're going to go into how we're going to go back to private enterprise and how they spy on us, and I'm going to explain this thing called the MAC address, and one of the biggest companies spying on MAC addresses is Facebook, and there's a video explaining that. But I'm going to there's some intricacies with MAC addresses that people don't understand, so we're going to dig into that a little bit more. Okay, so let me just see what comments I missed here. $1 billion facility, 4 billion. Yeah, 4 billion. Right. I thought you said $1 billion. I misread that. I need glasses. Too tiny here. Have hackers please come in and clear all information your heart. Please come in and steal all the information your heart desires. Normal methods of enhancing security and privacy are pretty much useless against Intel ME. That's not true. That one guy with a mustache, that is not true. You know why? I don't have IME on my computer. Okay? I have 3 new laptops and none of them have IME. So you just have to pick the model without IME on it. And those models are indicated on the Intel website as not having IME. So a lot of the consumer laptops no longer have IME since 7th generation. So 7th and 8th and this coming year, 9th generation Intel chips will be available, are available without IME. What is IME, Smoky Jumper? Intel Management Engine. It's the back door. Hello, Samira. It's a back door to your computer. So if you have a regular computer or with an Intel chip on it, such as a Mac or a normal Windows computer, your computer has a backdoor. The backdoor was put in there by Intel since 2007, so just about every computer in existence today, well, not all of them, but 80% of them have IME on it, Intel Management Engine. Too late for love. Okay, so that gives us a kind of a what computers do not have Intel Management Engine on it. I believe i3s don't have them, so Celerons probably don't have them. Anything i5 and above for the last decade has them, except for the last 2 years. So the last 2 years, there's now models without IME. Maybe they kind of felt the pressure from guys like me talking about it. Intel chips are made in the Zucking U.S. Night Eyes, hello Night Eyes. Probably made in Oregon, I think. Where are they made? Oregon, and, well, of course, some are made in Silicon Valley, but I think they've moved a lot of those to other places to cut down the cost. So IME is the backdoor to Intel chips. So if you have an Intel processor, what IME was intended to do was to allow corporate IT departments to take over your computer, wake it up. So let's say you're an employee at Ford Motor Company, and you say, well, I need tech support. My computer stopped running, or there's a virus on here. And you call up tech support, and tech support says, okay, we'll fix it tonight. So they dial in at night, and they turn on the computer. You just have to leave it plugged in, and they will turn on your computer and take over. They can write over the hard drive. They can reinstall Windows. They can look and see what you have on your hard drive, look at your files. They can insert their own virus in there and basically, spy on whatever is happening on the network. Now, they have other ways of spying, but they can put fake certificates on there for HTTPS, which they do. So this is all corporate stuff that actually does happen, but it's their Zucking computer. If you're a corporation, it's your computer. You can do whatever you want. It's your computer. The only thing is, why did they put a backdoor on your home computers? Because nobody owns my home computers but me. So finally, they removed the IME on the consumer computer. So chances are, if you buy a new computer from last year and this year, chances are it will not have IME on it if it's a laptop. If you buy a server or a desktop, it may still have IME on it. But if you're buying a laptop, then chances are it will not have IME on it anymore. So that's kind of changing. They could put stuff on there that could get you into trouble. Miss Goofy Mocha, they can already do that from your phone. I told you that. Do I have Instagram? It's fucking kidding me. The inventor of the word "what the zuck," the owner of the domain whatthezuck.net, and I'm being asked if I have Instagram. Zuck. Samira, what do you think about that? I'm sure you have Instagram, Samira, but I do not. Why the Zuck is surveillance is much of an issue? What is the root cause? There's no root cause. It does exist. How can you confirm the absence of Intel ME on those chips? Because it's stated on the Intel website. It's stated on the Intel website. Drac! What's up, Drac? I was watching Aladdin with my kids and grandma. We are here to learn about how to avoid it. Elon Musk hasn't deleted his Instagram. Okay, anyway. We're going to go on a big anti-Facebook spree tonight. But we're going to be educating yourself on this thing called a MAC address. So, a lot of you do not know exactly what the risk is with a MAC address. So, let's stick to topic now. So, I don't want to go back and forth on other topics. We're going to focus on the MAC address because a lot of people are asking this question because they don't understand what I've been saying about it. So, we're going to go at it in detail. Okay, what is a MAC address? So you are aware of this thing called IP addresses. So been talking about IP addresses for a long time, and I made a Tor router, VPN, and all these products that are made to block them from seeing your IP address. TR Fun Guy. So that's one piece of information that we want them to block because the IP address is assigned to you, and it is your ID on the internet. Anytime you go to the internet, you are seen with your IP address. So Margie USMC. Scary. Margie's gonna scare me with her weapons at the USMC. So, does Mac still have Intel management engine? You mean new ones? I don't know. Possibly, you got to check the actual chip. You check the chip model. You go to the Intel website, and see if it has IME on it. So you check chip by chip. So, an IME for those of you who do not understand what that is, it's actually a second computer on the motherboard. So if you buy a computer from, let's say HP, and it comes with IME on it, what they're saying is we have the main chip, which is the big, whatever the big chip is. Let's say it's a i7 8550 chip, okay? And with IME, when it says with IME, there's another chip on the computer, small one. A smaller processor, a lot slower, cheap one. It's full computer though with access to the main drive, access to the main computer, and this one can wake up the big computer. It has the ability to wake it up, turn on the switch, turn on the power, watch the network, read the drives, format the drives, do all that like it's the main computers. It's like they switch back and forth between which processor runs the computer. Is it the IME chip and the main one? Yes, it's controlled from remotely. So the only requirement is that the computer has to be plugged in. If it's plugged in, then you can be controlled with IME. So if you're on Wi-Fi, that will work. Just has to be plugged in. And you believe Intel, Rob, when they say they have removed that. Ken, yes, I do. The reason is it has to do with cost. So, they're selling that feature. That feature is actually something they sell. So if you don't have it there, they're saying that the fabrication process doesn't have it on the board. So it costs them money. So that's one of the reasons they could. Hello, Daryl. That's one of the reasons they may have taken it out, as they say, well, we'll have a less manufacturing here. We'll take out a chip, although that probably doesn't impact much on the cost. So hello, Mama Goo. So anyway, so let's go back to the main topic, which is MAC address. So okay, can we what is the one more? Okay, well, one more dumb question. Okay, just ask the question. So if you don't plug in your computer, no one can remotely take over your machine. Sure, that's correct. Too late for love. Until 8200 unit 8200 used IME. Okay, I don't know who that is. Okay, BlackBerry, a good stock to buy? No. You mean RIM? RIM is not in the phone business anymore. They're in corporate systems. Can you spy on me right now? Periscope is spying on you. I'm sure 3-letter agents are recording everything you do. Why are you asking me if I'm spying on you in Periscope? I am not, but there are other programs that are. Okay, so what makes Bytes VPN different from other VPNs like IPVanish and PI? I have a video on that. You can watch the video that explains what's wrong with those VPNs. I don't need to keep repeating it. Uh, if you want to spend more money, go to IPVanish. If you want to have your email blocked and captcha codes all day because of all the bad people using PIA, you can go to PIA too. So I used to be on PIA. So the reason I made my own VPN is because of my very, very bad experience with it. And I said, enough of this. I made my own VPN to make myself happy. No, Tinkerballs. I just said that. Is video on your Periscope? What does that mean? Okay. We're any more questions unrelated to MAC address? Because too many distractions here. We're talking about MAC addresses, and I'm being asked VPN questions and other things. There are many videos on that, by the way. Okay, it's on YouTube. Please subscribe to my. If you're on Periscope, the important thing to do is to subscribe to my YouTube channel, where there are hundreds of videos, short ones. They're typically around 10 minutes long, 10-minute videos of all the topics like why this VPN, why that, and why Tor. That is not the question of the day, Tinker. Okay, so subscribe to Rob Braxman Tech on YouTube. Okay, I cannot link my YouTube videos. You go to YouTube and you'll see tons of videos there. Okay, and there's many topics there that you need to learn about, like Tor and email and what the dangers with email. Okay, so Tinkerball's asked me, for example, because he was talking about Proton Mail, and I have a whole large section there about email. And what makes you think, Tinkerballs, that Proton Mail is different than any other topic I said about email? That's the flaw with Proton Mail. It's just normal email. Okay, so don't be misled by the purpose of Proton Mail. Okay, so Proton Mail has some value, but it's very limited. It's only when two people are both on Proton Mail. If you're both on Proton Mail, then you can be both on Brax.me, both on Signal, both on not WhatsApp. Don't go to WhatsApp. What email to use? Gmail, because I hardly use any email. I have my own email account, my servers. I have my Brax.me email servers, and then I use Gmail. Okay, hello, my friend Joe. Okay, so those are things I use as little as I can. Telegram is okay. Telegram, hello, Joe. So Telegram is okay. It's they're not 100%, but they're okay. Brax is very similar to Telegram, actually, even the way that the platform is made, and even the way the encryption and all that is done. But Brax has some advantages over Telegram in the group encryption, because Telegram doesn't do that. They only encrypt like person to person, but they don't encrypt like group discussions. Whereas on Brax.me, you can have a group discussion that's completely end-to-end encrypted. Okay, so anyway, wow, it's like half an hour of discussing anything but MAC addresses. It's like, Zuck, guys, our topic is MAC address, and nobody wants me to talk about MAC addresses. You're all talking about something else, which is okay. Okay, so back to the main topic here, which is a MAC address. So, again, the main identifier that is used to track your movements on the internet is called the IP address, Internet Protocol Address, IP address. So all of us, when we go to the internet, just saw my first user blocked. I didn't block anyone. Dear fun guy. Did they block themselves? I didn't block anyone. I haven't blocked anyone. Okay, so back to the identifiers on the internet, the IP address. So what happens is if you if you go and use, I'm gonna ignore some of these comments now. Yes, Joe, my good friend. I'm gonna ignore the comments that are not related to the topic so that I can get through this. Otherwise I can't get through the topic if I keep interrupting myself. If Redamore comes in here and says, "Oh, you zucking moron! You're not paying attention to the comments," I'm gonna say, "Zuck you all," okay? Because I'm gonna, if I'm not sticking to the topic, then the majority of the people are not getting the information. This is not about pleasing individuals here. We have to please the group and educate the group. So we're going to educate you all. I told you yesterday about the thing that was in the Snowden book, for example, the reference to X key score, where they can actually play back your internet activity. So they can say, so Joe went on the internet from 8:30 Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time, and they said, okay, I would like to see what Joe's doing on the computer at these hours. And all they have to do is find the IP address and do a playback of everything that this person was doing between those hours. Because the National Zucking Agency has a recording of everything you do on the Zucking internet. How they do that is by IP address. IP address. So that's the identifier. And typically it's a 4-digit number like 192.168.1.50. Okay, it's like 4 numbers, and that's how you're identified on the network. And then the new one is called IPv6. Those are 6 numbers with a lot more higher value. So those are how you are identified on the network. But there's another identifier that you are not familiar with. 4 octets. Why would it be 4 octets? It's hexadecimal. Hexadecimal FFFFFFF. That's the range. 0 to FF. Not octets. Okay, so on your device, there's another identifier. So there's actually 2 identifiers you need to be aware of. And the first identifier is the IP address. The second identifier is the MAC address. MAC address. Okay, now, MAC address means Media Access Control Address. MAC, Media Access Control Address. Now, the difference between the IP address and the MAC address is the MAC address does not change. The IP address is attached to every single device you have. So every device has a fixed MAC address. So the manufacturers actually are given a range of numbers. So if you're Intel, or if you're Apple, or if you're Dell, or if you're Broadcom or Cisco, you get your own. The MAC addresses are 8 digits, 8 sets of numbers. The first 4 sets of numbers are 0 to FF in hexadecimal. The first 4 sets of numbers identify the manufacturer. The second set of 4 numbers identify the specific device. Okay, so MAC addresses are issued by the manufacturer. So if you make a chip, a network chip, it's actually attached to the network portion of any device. So let's say that you have a device here. This one has a Wi-Fi, right? So the Wi-Fi of this device has a MAC address. Okay, now I have a computer right down here that you cannot see. This computer has a Wi-Fi chip that has a MAC address. It also has Ethernet port. So if you plug in an Ethernet port, Ethernet adapter to it, the Ethernet adapter also has a MAC address. If I plug in an external, this one is an external Wi-Fi USB. This one has a MAC address. Okay? So every device that goes on the network, every network device, whether or not you go on the internet makes no difference, every network device has a MAC address. So this one is made by Panda. This is called Panda Wireless. This one has a MAC address. Okay? Do you have that? You got that? Okay, so this one is my Brax Wi-Fi router. This is a Raspberry Pi. This one has two MAC addresses. One for the Ethernet that's built in. There's an Ethernet built in there in the back. There's also Wi-Fi, so these two have two MAC addresses. Okay? These are all Raspberry Pis, so they all have two MAC addresses. Okay, so all of your phones have at least one MAC address, and they're built into the Wi-Fi. Now, today we're going to talk about the dangers of MAC addresses, but to be honest with you, the dangers of MAC addresses only relate to Wi-Fi. Okay, let me repeat this again, because this is an important point. MAC addresses have a danger only if it's used for Wi-Fi. There is no danger to wired MAC addresses. If you plug in a computer and it's a wired MAC address, it's not going to do anything. Too late for love. I already had a email system just like Proton Mail. This is why I don't suggest Proton Mail. Too late for love, because I had one, and I thought I was lying to you if I provide that service, so I took it out. It would be a lie, because there's some. When I actually turn it on and saw what I can see in there, I said, this, I'm uncomfortable with this. I'd be spying on you. So I said, I don't want that. So what I could see, then Proton Mail could see. So I took it out. So I actually wrote a Proton Mail server on Brax.me. Okay? So solution is stay away from email. But that is not a MAC address topic, Rob. So what do? I have Wi-Fi. All of us have Wi-Fi, Ms. Goofy Mocha. So every device that has Wi-Fi has a dangerous element there with the MAC address. Now, again, let me make this clear. We're going to discuss this in detail. If your computer has a Ethernet port, wired, Ethernet is wired. Ethernet is not an issue. All Ethernets have MAC addresses. We do not care. That has no danger to you. So if somebody actually emailed or messaged me on Brax and said, I'm going to remove, I want to spoof my MAC address, but on wired. And don't bother. Why spoof your MAC address wired? It's not going to be used for anything bad. So forget about the wired MAC address. It has no consequence for what I'm going to tell you. You need to only worry about Wi-Fi MAC addresses. Now, again, there are levels to this. I just want to, first division of the problem. Wired Wi-Fi MAC addresses, we don't worry about. So anything wired, forget it. So now we're limited to Wi-Fi MAC addresses. In the Wi-Fi MAC addresses, now you've got to worry about two sets of MAC addresses. Your MAC address for your device, like your iPhone, your iPad, your laptop, your Android, any device with a MAC address on Wi-Fi, that's especially the ones that are mobile, you worry about those. Second group, guys, is the MAC addresses of routers, Wi-Fi routers. These are two different sets of problems. Again, Green Skies thinks it's complicated, so we're going to repeat this again because I want to make sure that it's clear in your head. MAC addresses are everywhere. Any device that's connected to the network has a MAC address. If it's wired, ignore it. It's not a problem. Wired MAC address, set it aside. It's not a problem. MAC addresses of Wi-Fi devices, it's a problem. There's within that set of Wi-Fi devices, there's two sets. The routers and the actual devices. They have different problems. Okay, they have different problems, and they're part of the difficulty that we're going to deal with today. Okay, so now talking only about the Wi-Fi routers. So your Linksys, your Cisco, or well, most of you probably don't have Cisco at home, but your Linksys, your Asus, your whatever, Apple Extreme, Apple Airport, whatever brand of router you have at home for your wireless, your Wi-Fi router, that has a MAC address. Now, what is so special about MAC addresses for routers? So your routers are announcing their MAC address multiple times a second. Multiple times a second, your routers are announcing over the air. So if you have a radio receiver like this kind of radio receiver, okay, this can listen in to all the MAC addresses. So every Wi-Fi in the world is emitting a signal saying, I'm over here, my MAC address is 1. I'm over here, my MAC address is 2. Okay, and MAC address is again permanent to the hardware, so it's like a serial number. So it's like saying, I'm over here and I'm serial number 1, and I'm over here, I'm serial number 2. I'm over here, I'm serial number 99. I'm over here, I'm serial number 1000. Okay? So you get that? So every Wi-Fi announces that. And someone on the street could listen into all the Wi-Fis and said, "Oh yeah, I can see the signal from that wireless. Here's my little antenna, and I can point it at the target." And I say, "Ooh, I see a Wi-Fi over there, and it's saying it's MAC address 99, and it's there. Oh, over here, MAC address 10,000. Oh, over here, MAC address 77." Okay. Now, MAC addresses are very long. They're eight numbers long. Okay. This doesn't have an antenna either. It doesn't matter. They all have MAC address. Okay. This doesn't have an antenna that's visible to you either, and that has a MAC address. But we're only talking about routers. Okay. So routers are emitting the MAC address. Now, why is this important? Well, it's important because Google started this. Google decided that they're going to record every single MAC address that they find of every router in existence. So these things announce, it's part of the protocol for Wi-Fi, that these routers identify themselves and say, I'm access point, home 1, and this is my MAC address. These are all doing this every 10 times a second. It's just very strong signals, guys. Your Wi-Fi router is transmitting probably 1 watt. These phones are transmitting at a watt, 200 milliwatts. So this is maybe 10%, 20% of a watt. Depending on the signal. I think it varies the strength. But your Wi-Fi routers are emitting a signal of 1 watt constantly, sending out an announcement saying, I'm MAC address 77, I'm MAC address 99, and this is my SSID, or this is the name of my network. I'm called Smith Home. Okay, and you all know this. You can go to your device and see the list of networks, and that's being announced, and that's being acquired by the announced SSID. What you don't see, unless you have some other software, you can see the MAC addresses with it. Okay, and some of you say, well, I have a hidden SSID. I hide the name of my network, which is worse. When you hide the name of your network, it actually announces your SSID even more. So your MAC address even more. So do not bother hiding your network. That doesn't help. I can track your network Hide it all day, I can still see it. So it's kind of pointless. So don't waste your time hiding your network. It doesn't do anything. So just leave that alone and just be concerned about what I'm saying. Now, what is interesting about the MAC addresses is that Google decided to record every MAC address of every router in existence, including their GPS position. They did this originally with Street View cars. So Street View cars went around every street in the country, and now every country, and they not only spotted MAC addresses using this kind of antenna, but they said, oh, while we're at it, we're going to store the location of the GPS position of that router. As you know, as you drive around, the routers will change signal strength. So if you go around a corner, some routers will have a weakening signal and some routers will have a stronger signal. And then using these comparisons of signal strength using a certain formula, you can actually identify the exact location of every router just from the signal strength change. Okay, so if you drive in one block and the signal strength is such, you go around the block, the signal strength change, and between those 2 points, you can now triangulate the exact position of every router. So there's a database in Google of every router in existence and where it's located. Now, other companies have made the same database. Skyhook Wireless has the same database. The other one is Apple, of course, and Microsoft. Microsoft also has this database. So all of these companies have a database entry of the MAC address and the location. Now, Google no longer tracks your MAC address with a Street View car. So Google, the way they do this now is they use Androids. So if you're walking around with an Android, your Android is spotting the MAC address of servers of networks around you, storing the MAC address and the GPS position of the Android device, sending that to Google. Your Apple device is doing the same thing. Your Microsoft Windows device doing the same thing. Okay? So the software that's tracking all the Wi-Fi's and storing the values and all that are built into the Broadcom chip of the iPhone. Okay? LOHV dreams. Okay, so you understand now what I'm saying. So there is the MAC addresses are extremely scary now with the wireless, because if I know your MAC address of your router, this is of routers, I can find your location. So this is only true of routers. So this has nothing to do with your specific phone. I can't track your location from a mobile phone by itself, but if I know that this is near a router, all I need to know is find out what is the router near you, and then I've got your location. So which device are you closest to that is near you and will identify you at all times? Your own Wi-Fi router at home. So if you have a Wi-Fi router at home, that has been identified, and that will be reported to Google with a location because of the MAC address. Now, the bad part is it doesn't just track the location of your router, it tracks the location of routers around you. So if you're saying, well, I'll stop using a router, then they can't track my location. Wrong, because your neighbors have routers. So the strength of the signal from your neighbor's Wi-Fi will position you anyway. Okay? So you can see why it's not a simple saying, well, I'm going to turn off my router and suddenly the world is safe. No, it doesn't work like that. It can work in some instances, but in general, you can see what the problem is. Now, someone, Ravi Shankar, who's a hacker, I think he lives around here now. He lives around here, and where I am. But he, you see him in DEF CON, and Shankar is a well-known hacker, and he was one, I believe some years back, he actually went to DEF CON and hacked the Google database showing the MAC addresses and the locations. So he actually exposed, here's the database, in case you're wondering where it is, here's the database. And Google quickly locked down access to that database, which that information is something they sell as part of the geolocation system. So every website can get a location on you based on that router location, but Shankar actually hacked the database of Google and was able to actually show you in raw form all the MAC addresses and all the GPS locations for every router in existence. And other companies have done this. Skyhook Wireless, one that you can buy their database, which can do the same thing. So you just pay Skyhook Wireless, they'll do their database. I don't know about the accuracy of Skyhook Wireless, though. I think they're buying their data from apps and such. So their data is not accurate for me. I'm so happy. My MAC address location, because of all the things I've done to hide my location with VPNs and so on, my routers don't actually identify my location. So very, very happy with that. So anyway, so that's one good news. By the way, I actually have a router here. This is the Brax Wi-Fi router. Okay, and this is a Tor and VPN router, or a normal router. You can also use it as a normal router. And there's a if you wanted to have a stronger signal, you can buy this device too to add to the signal to it. Anyway, what's unique about this router is this is a router that hides its MAC address. So my routers do not indicate a true MAC address. It shows a fake one. So, because it's fake, there are many MAC addresses of the same value, so they're not going to find anything, because they're not going to know where it is, because they're not going to have a fixed location. So these MAC addresses are awesome because they're not going to reveal your location. So there is a solution to some of it, and its specific application. Yeah, it's permanently fake. Yeah. It's fixed. Doesn't change every day. It's fixed. And then, yes, Miss Goofy Mocha, you're actually right that they can use your neighbors. However, the main issue is going to be Facebook. Too late for love, just mentioned it. Yes. The main issue is Facebook, because Facebook does not really track the routers of your neighbors. Facebook tracks your router only. So Facebook tracks your router. So if they don't have access to your to the correct MAC address of your router, then they're lost. Okay? Now, your neighbor's Wi-Fi can be used to identify you on some other websites. So all you do is make sure you turn off location permissions. That will handle that. Okay? So go to your phones. Never authorize locations, especially at home, from any device. That will block the Google. Google will know where you are, but that's about it. Okay? Google will know where you are, but the websites won't. And Apple will know where you are, but the websites won't. And Facebook won't know where you are. So it's not a complete solution, but fortunately, it stops Google and Facebook from sharing it. I mean, Google and Apple from sharing it, and then Facebook cannot steal it because Facebook does not share it. They take the data and steal it. Facebook is the main problem. Okay? Can you legally change a MAC address number? Yes, you can change a MAC address number of a computer or a device, but you can't change the MAC addresses of your router because you don't have access to the programming in it, unless you wrote your own router like I did. Since I made the software for this router, I can change the MAC address. I'm the manufacturer. I can change it. So I have a unauthorized MAC address on here. MAC addresses are supposed to come from a repository of official numbers, and the number in here is unofficial. So therefore, it's not recorded. Okay? So but if you're an official manufacturer, your MAC addresses come from an official source. So since I made that, doesn't, the numbering is, I override the existing number. Okay? Okay, now, yes, Kaka, that's exactly true. So, is it hard to write your own router? Not for me, because that's, I've been making routers since, I made routers since 1990 or 1988 maybe. Yeah, probably in the 80s, before the internet even. So but mostly routers showed up during the times of the internet, like in the early 90s. So I've written software for I've configured computers to be routers. I've turned Windows computers into routers, all the way back then. So this is nothing new. It's just these things have a different purpose, because this is a Tor and VPN router, and hides the MAC address. So this is quite beneficial. Now let me just tell you what the specific problem is with MAC addresses now on the device side. So point number one, your router will reveal your location, and anyone who goes into your network and steals the MAC address of your router will have access to your location. Okay? All they have to do is go to Google, say, this is the MAC address. Could you tell me what the location is? This is part of the geolocation API. So if you're thinking I'm making this up, go to the website on Google and search for geolocation API. And there you can see, you provide the MAC address and we'll give you the location. That's a little program. And I'm sure Facebook is using that, or they could have made their own location database since they have that information as well. So Facebook could have easily duplicated what Google's done, because there's so many people on Facebook. Now, this is the specific problem with Facebook. Okay, in other apps, not just Facebook, but Facebook is specifically one that is actually admitted to taking your MAC address. So it's in the data policy of Facebook. They actually admit it. They show it there. And so because they admit it, it's good to use them as an example. I'm sure there are other people who do not admit it and do it. But at least now we know specifically that Facebook does it. Now, what is so bad about Facebook and MAC addresses? Well, so you go to your phone and you say, I'm going to hide my location. I'm going to, I don't want any website to know my location. I don't want to have Facebook know my location and share that or sell it. I don't want Facebook to know anything about me. And so I block location. So you go into location permission and you say, no sharing of location to Facebook, no sharing of location to Instagram, no sharing of location to WhatsApp. All of these are Facebook properties. Okay. Now, what's the point of that if they have access to your MAC address? So basically, you can block Facebook from getting location the standard way, and they can now get location by saying, what is your router's MAC address? Now, how does it do this? How does it find the MAC address of your router? Hello, Michelle. So how does it find the MAC address of your router? So it does it through the Facebook app. It can't do it through the website. Any website cannot do this. It's got to be done by an app. Okay, so if you have an app, it can do this. So a Facebook app. So let's say that you installed Facebook app on your phone. Now, the Facebook app will make an announcement on your local area network saying, announce all of your MAC addresses. This command is called ARP, which is Address Resolution Protocol, ARP. So it's very simple. In fact, I use it for various pen testing things and hacking exercises. And you issue a command. You craft the packet in a certain way using the ARP protocol. And then, yes, of course, anything that to do with Facebook will do this. Okay. You send an announcement saying, announce all of your MAC addresses, and all the devices on your network will announce the MAC address. So let's just theorize with me here so you understand what I'm saying. So you have let's say you have 5 iPhones, 2 iPads, 1 Mac, and 1 Android. All of this will announce themselves and you're at your house. It could be you or your friends, and say the following MAC addresses were found here. The Facebook app found these MAC addresses. Okay? Then it says, which one is the router? It knows which one the router is. I know which one the router is. Okay? It's very easy to determine which one of those MAC addresses is the router. Very, very easy. So I can identify that among all the MAC addresses you've given, one of those MAC addresses is a router. So I just take that router MAC address, pass it to the database, say, now I know your location. Now I found out the locations of all of the computers that are in your house. So now I make a record. We found these computers and devices at this house, at this location. So we record that in the Facebook database. Okay? So that means that these 5 devices or these 10 devices are all connected. They're all owned by people in the same family, or you're connected by your visitor, your friend. You're all connected devices. Okay? Now, just think about that. So now there's a record on Facebook of every MAC address that is found using that Facebook app. So if anyone has been to your house with a Zucking Facebook app, that has given the opportunity for Facebook to now record your MAC addresses stored in their Zucking database and say, we found you. And you're connected to this person who has the Facebook app. So let's say that the Facebook app is Cousin Tony. So Cousin Tony has a Facebook app. It means now that it found all of your MAC addresses and you are connected to Cousin Tony. Your location, well, we know the router's location, so we know exactly where you are. And you're on Main Street in Madison, Wisconsin. So we know exactly where you are. And you're all related to Cousin Tony. So now you say, okay, who cares? Okay, now one of your devices, because there are many people, your family, your wife, your children, they go to Walmart. They go to Walmart or Starbucks. So, but let's go to a big one, Walmart. So you're at Walmart, and there are many people with Facebook apps at Walmart. Come on, you should know that. Many people with Facebook apps at Walmart. Probably 90% of the people at Walmart have a Facebook app on their phone. That means every Zucking device is now spying on the MAC addresses of everyone at Walmart. Okay? Then it says, okay, where's the router? Easy. The Walmart router. Walmart router. What is the password to the router? No password. Auto Zucking Connect. No password. Okay, so now you're all connected to while you're walking around, you're connected to the Walmart router, no password, and so now they know your location. And they said, "Oh, look, Cousin Tony's friend or sister or brother or wife is now at Walmart because I've seen that before." And now, and then Facebook can say, "Oh, you've been to Walmart 5 times this month. Okay. Oh, you went to Starbucks. Oh, you went to Whole Foods. Oh, you went to the strip club. Oh, you went to the doctor's office. Oh, you went." My goodness. So the MAC address is being tracked by every phone that has Facebook. Again, how that happens is Facebook app sends out ARP requests. So a address resolution packet protocol packet formatted for ARP. They do a ARP announcement, and then everybody announces their MAC address and say, "I'm over here." Okay, so you understand now why the MAC addresses are now being used in a way that you've never expected them to be used. Because MAC addresses do not show up on the internet. This is not something about internet. I didn't give you an internet connection here. What I showed you is that what's her name? Facebook found a way to track you with a serial number on your device and use that in ways that doesn't even cross the internet. And by the number of people using Facebook, they've been able to now make a database of MAC addresses and see where all the MAC addresses are. So by hook and by crook, you need to stop Facebook from ever discovering your router's address and all the MAC addresses in your area. You need to stop Facebook from doing that. Okay, so that's one of the ways to do that is to the reason I come up with these things is because I keep trying to identify the problem and say, how do you solve this? So one of the ways that you prevent the tracking of your activities is with a VPN. So what happens is when you have a VPN, your traffic doesn't cross from point to point. You actually have a very limited profile on the network because your network traffic is being directed directly to the router, and it goes out to the internet, and it skips everyone else. So a Wi-Fi router like this does two things. One, it hides the MAC addresses. So even if Facebook got your information, they don't know where you are because the MAC address is fake. Second, because it's a VPN, the VPN then blocks the information from going to announce the ARP call. So anyway, this is that's one of the issues. Now, just why am I saying this? It's not because I'm pushing this. That's not the point. The point is that you're aware of what the MAC address can do and what it's used for, because it's basically you being chipped. So a MAC address can be used for many, many reasons. A MAC address can be used for many, many reasons that has nothing to do with Facebook, and it can be used by any party very, very easily. So I'm going to give you examples because I love doing this, and one of the reasons I bought this little device in here. This is typically used by hackers. Typically, this adapter is used. Typically this is used for Kali, people using Kali Linux. So hackers. This is a pen testing device. Now, one of the things that this unique device does is, many of you already have my router. So, I don't really, it's not that I'm pushing it. It's just many of you already have it. So one of the things that is very interesting about this device is this device can actually listen in the air for MAC addresses of Wi-Fi's. Well, one of the things that I discovered, I didn't discover it, I already knew this, but good to know there's verification of what I just said by independent researchers. Your device is transmitting it's called a probe, a Wi-Fi probe. So every device, Apple, Android, anything with a Wi-Fi adapter, it's built into the firmware. You can't stop it. Okay? Built into the firmware. Okay, so it's built into the firmware of these devices, and your device is announcing the MAC address. Your device is announcing the MAC address. So everywhere you go, even if you're not connected to the network, unless you have an open source firewall VPN. I don't know what that means. By the way, the software is open source, yes. All the software used in here is open source. Okay, so there's no mystery. It's all open source stuff. Anyway, so one of the things that this little antenna can find is all of the phones and computers broadcasting a probe. Now, many of your devices will send out a probe about a Wi-Fi probe every second or so. And on iPhones, if you're inactive, if it's in your pocket, that drops down to as long as a few minutes, like 3 minutes. So anytime your phone is active, it's sending a probe every second. If your phone is in sleep mode, it will send it every few minutes. Okay, like 3 minutes at the most. And then without realizing it, these are actually transmitting your serial number. So if you understand what that means if I have this antenna, I'm going to prove it by actually writing a piece of software that does this. So I already wrote one to track the MAC addresses in that Linux program. If you look at the app I made for Linux in the videos, you will see it's actually working. I can actually jam a computer based on MAC address. I can spot you on a network. If you come to my network, I can spot the unknown device and then jam it. That's if you log into my network. This is different. This antenna can spot you without you coming into the network. I can jam you even without. I can jam your signal even if you're not coming into the network. So if I want you to not have a signal, all I have to do is discover your MAC address and then attack you. For example, I'm going to tell you a very practical use of this little trick, which is so zucking easy to do. Okay, and all I need is a Raspberry Pi. Okay, is I can go into your house and say, you have a zucking Ring camera. Do you have a zucking Ring camera? Anyone here have a Ring camera? Okay, so, you have a Ring camera. Why? Because this can detect the MAC address of the Ring camera. Okay? Then I jam your Ring camera. I jam it. Then, I don't have to worry about your camera working because I just jammed it. It's so easy to do. My gosh. It's kind of a joke. This is not rocket science. All you need is this. Okay? I can do it to your bling. That's why my camera, this is the camera that I sell. This is wired. Okay? The reason that I want you to wire your camera is so they can't jam it. Put it unwired. It doesn't announce its MAC address. And it's when it's wired, the MAC address is pointless. They can't do anything to it. They can jam it all day. It's not going to do anything. So can someone with Wi-Fi tether from a phone to the router, then the router rebroadcast to other devices? No. What can someone? What? I don't know what you're saying there. It doesn't matter. Any device with wireless can be jammed and can be recorded. Any device with wireless. So, do you have wireless? It doesn't matter if you're using a hotspot. Makes no difference. What's the difference? You all have Wi-Fi. You're being tracked. Okay, you all have a MAC address. So, if you have a MAC address, I can send this little device and say, I found your MAC address, and what do I do with your MAC address? I use it to identify you, A, or I jam you, B, or I do a man-in-the-middle attack. I'm not talking about jamming. I was asking about Brax router capabilities. I'm not sure what the question is, Cosmic. It's just a router, so it's a wireless router. You connect to it, and you're there. It's no more complicated than any router, but it's just it's a VPN router or a Tor router, so it takes it away from your ISP. So the traffic goes through your ISP encrypted. You can either go to the Tor network or to the VPN. Either way, the router supports both. If you want it to be free, use the Tor router. If you want to use it with a VPN, it's faster. Can it take tethered input? I don't know what tethered input is. It's only accepts input from the Wi-Fi antenna. Router simplifies the VPN, correct. Okay, but let's talk about the MAC address first and some of the dangers. So, no, it doesn't, it's not going to route hardwired. It's only routing from, this version does not route hardwired. It only routes from Wi-Fi. I can build a different device that will route wired, but I don't have that at the moment. I had one, but I don't have one right now. Nobody bought it, so I don't have it. Doesn't the Wi-Fi router work on? It works on any. Doesn't matter. Too late for love. You just plug it into the back of any open Ethernet port, anywhere. Anywhere there's an open Ethernet port, you plug it in, and that's all it needs. Some of you said, "Oh, this is too complicated." Some of you detached. One of you were saying that you detached the modem, and plugged it into the modem. And no, just go to any router. You already have a router. You know, go to your existing router. It's going to be an open port in there. Just plug it into any open slot, not the WAN slot, the LAN slot. Any slot for LAN, you plug it in there and boot it, and that's it. Very, very simple. Okay, but let me just talk to you about the importance of this. Let's say you visit a government office. Let's say you're visiting the National Zucking Agency. So if I'm going to go to the National Zucking Agency, I'm going to expect they're going to have an antenna like this, listening to all the MAC addresses entering the building. Okay, so anyone entering the building will have this tracked, will be tracked. So basically your chip, so they can actually say, okay, I saw this MAC address going to this doorway, or that MAC address going to that doorway. So just imagine the security aspects of this. Okay? So if you're going to a large corporation, they could easily install devices, and if they don't have one, I can make it for them, that will actually track MAC addresses of everyone walking in and out just based on their phone. Better yet, if the phones are issued by the company, then they can record the MAC address before they hand it to the employee, so then they can see where you're going around in the building all day. And if they want to locate you, they can say, oh, we found this MAC address in room 101. Oh, this MAC address is now in room 995. Oh, this MAC address is now on the 14th floor. Okay, so they can do that. So if you go to the courthouse, you know, they may have that kind of security where they say, oh yeah, we know the MAC address of every device. Now, this is very important, and this is one of the reasons I want a Librem 5 phone, is because I want to be able to switch that sucker off. So if you have a Librem 5 phone with a switch, you can switch the Wi-Fi off when you're not home. You can leave it on at home, but if you're away, you switch off the devices where you don't want to be tracked, and you can purposely turn it on and off at will depending on when you're using it, and then turn it off when you're not using it. And that prevents them from tracking your MAC address, because unfortunately the probe announcement on the phone is happening in the firmware. It's built into the Broadcom chip. How expensive that phone? You mean this is an iPhone? I paid $1,300 for this zucking thing. $1,300. I think you can buy this. This is an iPhone 10. You can buy this for $600 something now, and it's like I'm like, what the zuck? I paid so much money for this, and the new one's the iPhone 11. Has nothing better. There's nothing better than this. So it's like, why am I gonna buy? Why will I waste my money buying a new phone? There's nothing in it. So I don't need to buy a new iPhone. So I bought a new Librem 5, which I don't have yet, and I'm excited to get it so that I can turn it off and the MAC address shuts down. I mean your new one that you're writing on. What do you mean new one that I'm writing on? What does that mean? New one that you're writing on. Uh, uh, Librem 5 is the one that I'm waiting on. So I pre-ordered the Librem 5, but it only started shipping now, and I'm probably on the back of the list. So who knows when I'm gonna get it? Could be next year. I actually don't know, but I paid for it. It's when it comes, I'm gonna be so excited to be able to turn off the switch. For those of you without the switch, you can put it in a Faraday bag or just turn the power off. Okay, the only way that you can stop the MAC address from being advertised is to turn the power off. Now, how can you use the MAC address in other situations? It can actually be used in home security, because you can actually track. Can you imagine, walking around and being able to track MAC addresses of anyone approaching your house? Because even bad guys, good guys, the post office guy, the UPS guy, the delivery guy, everyone that goes into your realm of your property emits a MAC address signal because of their mobile device. So we're all emitting a chip signal with a MAC address. And can you imagine if you have one of these sensors in your house sensing every MAC address approaching your house and then being able to record it? Now, the way that these devices can record that, it's called monitor mode. So not all Wi-Fi adapters can do monitor mode. You have to use the ones that are used for hacking. So this one is built for monitor mode. The one built into your phone probably doesn't have monitor mode, so that's why I have an external one. So this one has monitor mode, and this can be plugged into a Raspberry Pi. Librem 5, yes, it's a normal phone, Eagle source, yes, but you can turn off the switch. Okay, wrong, Jerry in Portland. Promiscuous mode is for tracking you inside, tracking Wi-Fi routers. Monitor mode allows you to track MAC addresses of everyone, including client stations, including every device. So promiscuous mode is used to track routers. So all devices have promiscuous mode now. So your phone has promiscuous mode, your computer has promiscuous mode. So promiscuous mode is now standard. That's, for the last 10 years, every device in existence has enabled promiscuous mode. This one has monitor mode. Monitor mode allows it to listen into the airwaves without connecting to the Wi-Fi. So it can just sense MAC addresses by radio waves. So it'll scan all the channels and then look for signals. So when your phone is transmitting, it's going to transmit on multiple channels looking for Wi-Fi. So this can listen into it's called the probe, the probe of your iPhone and your Android. This will listen into it. So can you imagine now, because many of you don't really care and are not thinking about it, that your devices are emitting these probes about where you are, what your locations are, announcing your presence. Now, this is not about the internet. This is not going through the internet, but someone with an antenna, a radio antenna, can actually receive your signal. So as long as they're within range, and depending on the size of the antenna, they can scan a big area. These devices are typically made to work around like a 60-foot range. So if anyone approaches you within 60 feet, then this will send a signal announcing the MAC address. Okay, so that's a little bit of that story. So I just want to make sure we're clear, because some people were asking me about how they protect themselves from the MAC address problem with Facebook. And some of you rightfully said that you're going to use wired. So some of you say, yeah, I'm going to go wired because, and now how can I hide my MAC address from wired? And I just explained a moment ago or earlier in this broadcast that you do not have to worry about the MAC addresses if it's wired. It's not important. Okay, so if your computer is wired, the MAC address is not of any value. So don't worry about it, because in wired there's nothing to fear. Okay, now the problem is, how do you address these phones that do not have a wired connection? iPhones, iPads, all of these devices can only talk Wi-Fi. Your computers can talk wired. Your phones cannot. Your phones need Wi-Fi. I just want to make sure you're aware of that, okay? So that is where you start thinking about these kinds of solutions with obfuscated IP addresses and VPNs, so that your traffic is routed away from being tracked by MAC address. MacBooks are not penetrable. That makes me laugh. Actually, I did a broadcast. This was some years back. I think it was 4 years ago. I actually went on a broadcast and said, I can hack your Mac in 30 seconds. I can hack your Mac in 30 seconds. And I showed it. And, and the people who saw the hack, like, ooh, you can do that? That's pretty scary, that you can take over a computer in 30 seconds. And yes. Well, Apple took that 0 day out. So there's many 0 days that some of us know that we don't talk about, and that's one of them. So that attack no longer works. So there's other attacks you can do, but that one doesn't work anymore. But yes, if you think your Mac cannot be attacked, you got to be crazy. Of course, anything can be attacked, but yes, it is usually, because of configuration, easier to attack Windows, and that's not because Windows is any less safe. It's because of the way we normally configure Windows. Can you take over a cell phone? The government can take over your cell phone. That was my video. So any government that can take over your cell phone. So if you're in another country and you're hiding and you have a zucking cell phone, good zucking luck. Okay? They can turn on your phone and listen to you. So can I personally hack your phone? It's pretty hard to hack a phone directly. There's now hacks on Android. There was a way to hack a phone through iMessage. There's an occasional 0 day, but the easiest way to hack a phone is to give it to you already configured. So a lot of you may not realize it, but someone you know may have given you a Apple device, and it could have a rat in there, a remote access Trojan. So, this is why I have my little joke that, if you want a phone, I'll give you one. I'll send you a phone, pre-configured. So as long as, I can set it up, I can put the remote access Trojan on there, and it'll all be legit software from the App Store, and then I can spy on you. And how this is used, it's people with divorced families, and husband and wife. We have issues with the kids. So let's say it's a divorced couple and the children are living with the mother. The father could give a iPad to the kids, Say, here's an iPad for you. And the kid takes the iPad, but you don't know that the iPad can spy on the network, can do ARP, can do check MAC addresses, can turn on the phone, can turn on the video, can turn on the camera and the sound, read iMessage, and so on. So that's usually the way you would do that. So one of the ways to hack your phone, especially iMessage. So this is the funny one. It's actually pretty hard to attack the phone directly, but Jeff Bezos' iPhone was hacked, and they got to read the messages on Jeff Bezos' iPhone, and somebody was trying to theorize how you could do that, and I gave many theories of how you do that. In fact, one of them is don't hack the iPhone, hack the Mac. Hack the Mac. Because all your iMessages are stored on the Mac. So if you have a Mac and an iPhone, it's in the user folder. There's a specific area there where all of your iMessages are, and because it synchronizes your iMessage with the computer, and you can actually see all the iMessages there unencrypted, and you can easily just look at it. So if you have a way to get into the computer, you will see all the iMessages without even touching the zucking phone. Okay, and then here's the other aspect. Since the attack was being made with a couple, Jeff Bezos and Sanchez, right? How do you attack Bezos? Attack Sanchez's Mac. Because then all the conversations will be on the Mac, and you don't have to bother with the phone that they're holding. Okay? So there you go. So that's just examples of some of that. So it's very hard to attack a actual phone without jailbreaking it. So you have to jailbreak it. So, and the jailbreak doesn't last. So if you, let's say, jailbreak a phone like this, an iPhone, and then the next update to iOS shows up and then wipes out the jailbreak. So if there's any virus or anything like that, you can handle it with an update of the operating system. But one of the tricks on an iPhone is to load the software for spyware, which is commercial. Okay, there are many remote access Trojans, legit apps. They're called remote control apps. They're legit. They're used for business use. You can install them on any phone, and anyone can spy on you. So if you want to spy on Jerry in Portland, you install the software on the phone, so he can install the software on the phone, and his entire family will have the software and can now track every phone in the house. So you can legitimately do it. And there are many companies that sell this, like LogMeIn is one of them. There are many companies. I can't remember all their names now, but LogMeIn is one of them. So you can put LogMeIn and then actually control a phone remotely. You can turn it on, listen in, turn on the camera, watch and see what they're texting, and watch what they're doing. Okay, so that's you need a subscription. What? Sorry, I had an adult beverage. Simon, pick up. Simon is awake because it's a weekend. Okay, so wow, my device is running. Why is my phone running out of battery? And it's plugged in. This is I'm plugged in and it's saying running out of battery. So that is very concerning. Okay, I may lose the device here. Broadcast will go on, but I'm looking at Periscope through that, and I may lose it. Okay, so anyway, this social engineering thing is actually worth looking at. Tim Cook is watching you. Okay, then I'll watch him. You could go to what? If ever with the lottery, I'm going to use a lot of money for furthering security research. The government has more money than you, mustache man. Tiffany's back. The government has more. The government has more money. If you ever win the lottery, mustache man, you can't compete with the government's money. So they spend billions. So if I buy the wireless router, I also need to buy a subscription. You can use Tor, which is free. No, the router comes with 3 options. You can use it as a regular router, which is kind of pointless. You can use it as a VPN router, which requires a subscription. You can use it as a Tor router, which does not require a subscription. Okay, so if you use Tor, then the advantage is, aside from the security, it's free. But Tor, even though it's free, Tor is slower. So VPN is faster, much faster. So a Tor goes only at the speed of 10 megabits, which is okay for your guests. So if you want to put your guests on Tor, you buy this and put your guests on Tor, and they're going to be on 10 megabits. And you don't really care. It's just your guests. Okay? The government can literally always print more money. Yes. What did the government become bigger than we? When did the government become bigger than we the people? It's called taxation. If you store and you like to read, transit libraries are good. It's still faster than a browser. Yeah, you can. Yeah, so if you want to save money, you can use just the Tor part. I used to sell the Tor router separately. So there used to be 2 products, a Tor router and a VPN router. So now it's just one. So if you want to use this as a Tor router, it will function very well as a Tor router. If you want to use this as a VPN router, it can do so as well. You can actually use this with any VPN, but I don't really want to configure it for that. But it is possible to use it with any VPN if you're a little bit more techie. Okay, because I don't really want to give instructions for every single VPN. But yes, it will actually work for any VPN. Now, it's easy to give instructions for PIA, for example. You can use this with PIA because I have PIA, so I can give you the instruction. For all the other ones, it's kind of case by case because, too many different instructions, and I don't really want to do it. So it is possible to use this with existing other VPNs, but why? You're paying the same amount, so use Bytes VPN, and Bytes VPN has Bytes VPN has the ad blocker. This does not have the ad blocker. Bytes VPN has the ad blocker. So when you load the VPN here, you have a choice. Use the ad blocking VPN or non-ad blocking VPN. So just use a Tor browser with the Wi-Fi. No. Incorrect. Rob, incorrect. Okay, incorrect. Okay, so Rob, too late for love. No. No. A Tor browser is only encrypting your browser session. A Tor router is called SOCKS 5. It's a SOCKS 5 router. Okay, now let me explain this. Gotta make this clear because some of you think, oh, I can go to my Android and use a Tor browser on Android because there's a Tor browser on Android called Orbot. Okay, no, you got to be careful here because a browser is only encrypting HTTP and HTTPS traffic. It doesn't have anything to do with email, FTP, SSH, WebRTC, uh, RTMP, all the million things your computer does all day. Okay? DNS, it has nothing to do with that. So a Tor browser is only good. It's good for this. It encrypts browsing traffic. So if you're going to go to a website, that's what Tor is for, websites. If it's not a website, it doesn't do anything. So, for example, this is kind of example of a little bit of the stupidity of some people who don't understand the security issues. So they say, I'm really secure. I'm using a Tor browser. And then they send email. And their IP address is on the email. Your IP address is on your email. So, and you act like you're being so super secure, but you don't realize that your email is leaking your IP address. And some of you are saying, oh, that's okay. I'm using Tor and I'm using Proton Mail. Never mind. We won't talk about Proton Mail. But I'm using Periscope. Well, Periscope uses RTMP. Okay? So now you're going to use a protocol that has nothing to do with the browser, and that is being sent out revealing your IP address. Okay? So Periscope needs to be protected. Just like anything you do on the internet needs to be protected. And the routing of all internet traffic, not just part of the internet traffic, but all internet traffic being routed is called SOCKS 5. SOCKS 5 is the routing. SOCKS 5 is the routing of all the internet. This is a Tor router, which means it routes everything. SOCKS 5. So everything you do on the internet is going through the router. SOCKS 5 is SOCKS 5. Sockets 5. So SOC 5 is the reference to routing everything. So you need a SOCKS 5 router. Okay, like Snowden would use a SOCKS 5 router, not a Tor browser, because a Tor browser will only route. So Tor itself is great, but a Tor browser is not the complete solution. The solution is a Tor router. It's still Tor. It's still made by Tor, but it's routing. The operating systems, Cubes, Tails, and Unix are all SOCKS 5 routers. So what Tor platform do I need with a Wi-Fi router? Nothing. It's built in. It's built in. Okay, so everything is built in. When you turn on the Tor routing side of this, that's it. Turn Tor on, all the traffic goes into Tor, nothing else to think about. Your email, everything will go to Tor. You will strive or thrive. Or thrive? What? Okay, so do you get that now? So this is all of the most secure systems in even on Linux, Unix, Tails, Cubes. The reason they're secure, they're all SOCKS 5, just like this. So this is the hardware solution to Unix, Tails, and Cubes. The hardware solution to Unix, Tails, and Cubes is SOCKS 5 routing. Same thing. Okay, so this is the hardware solution for those of you who are not techie. If you're techie, you can run Unix, Tails, and Cubes. For most of us, that's too much effort. We're not going to do it. So the solution, Tor routing. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, you can be tracked even using Tor if you use mainstreams, ISPs, DNS servers. No, no. SOCKS 5. It redirects your DNS as well. Your DNS is redirected. So you're not going to be tracked. So no. This has no DNS leak. No. Please, come on. Don't ask me like baby cybersecurity questions. Obviously, this has no DNS leak. Can you stack VPN over Tor? Yeah, kind of pointless, but you can. I ISAAS SAS infrastructure. What is ISAS? Throughput of a Tor router is 10 megabits per second. Usually, it's usually capped at the Tor side. VPNs are fast. NordVPN is slow. My VPN is fast. My VPN, typically, I use it at about 100 megabits. Pretty fast. That's not bad. 100 megabits is fast. So, Wi-Fi. Wired is probably higher than that, but at Wi-Fi, I'm at 100 megabits. I'm interested in changing VPNs, but why should we trust Byte's VPN promises over the others? Why? Yes, why? That's a good question. Why do you trust them? Arg. Let me just ask you the question. You see me here. You can talk to me. You can ask me questions. Why do you trust NordVPN? What exactly did NordVPN do for you that you trust NordVPN? Could you tell me? You get 0.05 megabits. Okay, let's face it, we're all suck. But I just want to ask that question. Like, why should we trust you? You want to trust Facebook instead? I don't understand some of these questions. Why do we trust you? Well, don't. Use Tor. Don't trust me. Don't use a VPN because you cannot. If you're going to ask me if you can trust a VPN, then why me? Why asking me that question? Why do you trust them? There's nobody to trust. If you don't want to trust, then go to Tor. Then you don't have to worry about trusting. Okay. Otherwise, why do you make a claim that my VPN? Because I've been in this business doing privacy protection for the last 4 years. Even with the app and Brax Me app and everything I talk about, which is protecting you, and you're asking me if you trust me, and yet you would trust NordVPN? Strange question. It's like somebody saying, "Well, I trust Facebook more than you." When certain companies are doing things to destroy your privacy and you trust them, I don't know what to say. So, no, you don't have to trust me. You don't have to trust me. But, I'm easier to deal with because you can confront me directly. So, it just, it's much more of a positive. One of the advantages of Bytes VPN is not, hello, Charlie. Bytes VPN is not known as a VPN. It's not listed as a VPN, and it's a stealth VPN. And the reason it is because I make sure that there are not that many users on each IP address. And because there's not that many users on it, and that's not like PIA that has probably 100,000 people on the same IP address. So, can you imagine that? So it's so obvious it's a VPN. If there's 100,000 of you with the same IP address, then you are very zucked. Okay, and those of you who know me can easily contact me, and you know that any issue is resolved because there's a face associated with it, and that's why I have all of these products that I built for you. So what are these products I built for you? I've been selling these Tor routers for 2 years now. This is a Tor NVPN router. This is the new version. You can see it's custom case made here. Okay. So, yeah, have you noticed CNC traffic with PIA? I don't use PIA now. I don't use PIA. I do have a PIA account, but I don't use it. Okay. Next product that I have is this. What the fuck happened? Looks like my thing got unplugged. There we go. Looks like the power went off. Okay, this is the radar system that I made. And this radar system is an alarm based on radar. So it senses this is able to protect the perimeter. And very simply, you just turn it on by pressing the button. I think I have to let it boot. It hasn't booted yet. So that'll take a while. So anyway, and then this is the security camera that I built. These are all built by a cybersecurity expert. This is a built in with flash storage, wide angle lens, day and night, mechanical filter, switch, power over Ethernet, built-in flash storage, built-in computer. This is a full computer, and it's not very big. It's my iPhone is taller, as you can see, and so it comes with a lot of stuff that's kind of expensive with the PoE power supply with 48 volt injection. And then it sends you videos. This is motion video. It's a motion video sensor, and it's able to track motion. The camera is so all of these are available at the store next week. No, end of next week. So by the next broadcast, I'll be announcing that these are ready for sale. So this one is $249. This is a very sophisticated camera. HD video. This is an alarm. This is $129.
Alarm sequence initiated now.
Okay, this is such a simple thing, such a simple device. It just can you run two, hard and software? What does that mean? You can have as many of these devices as you want. They're all made to coordinate with each other. I don't trust them. I just wanted to know if there's something more than just pure trust. I guess it's a matter of choice then. You want to, I can give you a temporary password and you're going to go check my servers. If you want to have some trust. You want to say, is there a real login there? Yeah, sure. I'll give you a temporary password. Go into the server and go SSH into it and go look at the server. And if you don't believe it, there's no log, go check it. Okay? So, yes, you can have more trust in me because you can talk to me. Somebody says, will you offer refunds? I mean, yeah, sure. What if I don't like the product? Can I return it? Absolutely. I'm so easy to talk to. I'm right here. So, 100% customer satisfaction is the goal. If you don't like something, I quickly return your money and I want to make sure you're happy. Okay? So it's easy because it's just me. You're not dealing with a big giant corporation. I'm just a small business, for goodness sakes. So all I'm doing here is trying to, make these products to help you, just like a little small business. Can use the camera without the alarm. Yes, the camera and the alarm are two separate products. You can have 2 alarms, 5 cameras, any combination, 10 cameras, 5 alarms, 1 alarm, or just 1 camera. Okay, watch this. Radar.
Alarm. Police alert.
And then that sends a notification to your phone. Okay, this one is so you can cover a big area with this because this is like a 24-foot diameter, so can cover any space where they're going to walk through, like any bad guy. You can cover a space of 24 feet circle. So if you have one of these on either side of the house, and you can cover the back side, the front side, and you don't need to put alarm sensors in the windows, anything like that. You don't need to worry about that because it will give you a warning. It can be silent. You don't have to actually have a loud alarm. Then you have all your cameras storing all the videos. By the way, you can't stop this. So if the bad guy hears this, it's too late. The alarm's already been sent. You can't stop it. If you walk into your own house and trigger the alarm, no problems. You're gonna text a message that you set the alarm, and there's no problem because it's not gonna call the police. You decide to call the police. You keep you hope someone will come in. Weefu can. Anyway, these are very fun devices. You can actually use it for like tracking if somebody's walking into your bedroom, things like that. So you can actually surreptitiously put this on silent mode without any feedback, and just have it sit there and have it automatically restart. It will actually tell you if somebody walks into your space. Some of you have a business and you want somebody to track if somebody walks into certain parts of your business. This is also useful for that. So this is, again, it's very unique because radar is omnidirectional. It doesn't require you to wire it. It's Wi-Fi. This connects by a Wi-Fi. This can connect by Wi-Fi, but you don't want to. I don't recommend that. You should wire this. Wire this. Okay. How can I buy one of your VPN routers? Go to rob.brax.me. rob.brax.me. That's pretty easy. And that'll bring you to Brax, and then you can see the store. And we have this in stock. This is available. Okay, we have this. So we can ship this on the next business day. Going back to internet access, so you're selling your own router and providing the signal. I'm providing, so you get the router and I'm providing what signal? I'm providing the VPN as well. If you want the VPN, it's optional. The router can be used with or without a VPN. You can use as a regular router or Tor router or a VPN router. It's 3 modes. So if you want to use it, let's say that you're sick and tired of Tor and you don't want to use a VPN, can you use this as a regular router? Yes. Can you use it to be as powerful as any other router? Yes, use this for more range. This gives you the extra boost if you want it as powerful as your other router, because here it's a little smaller antenna built into this. So if you want to expand it anytime you want, this is a $35 adapter. Plug it in and it will extend it by another 10 dB. Will double the signal strength. Okay, so which makes it as powerful as any router. So you can basically use this as a normal router as well. Okay, will the antenna signal boost with the current router? I have no great gold. It's only made for the B+. It cannot boost a B. So it's made for the B+. Can I hook it up to the smart TV as well? The smart TV can connect to the Wi-Fi here, yes. Because your smart TV is Wi-Fi, has Wi-Fi. So the smart TV can connect to this, correct. Any IoT device can connect to this. Okay, so, but I would advise against smart TVs using Netflix, because Netflix blocks VPNs. They don't really care if it's a real VPN or not. They just block anything that is not going through Spectrum, Charter, all of those. They just basically locked it down to consumer networks. And if you're not on the consumer network, including a business network, they actually block you. So kind of zucked up. What about using a firewall? The firewall doesn't do anything. What is the firewall? Hello, Rick Cool. What is the well, you have to not use the Netflix through a VPN, or they won't let you. You can do anything else in your house. VPNs, are blocked by banks, some banks, blocked by some websites, and blocked by Netflix. Those are the enemies. So, you can say, well, that's too bad. It's your fault that your VPN doesn't support that. And instead, we should say, Zuck you, Netflix, for blocking VPNs. Zuck you, Bank of America, for blocking VPNs. Zuck you, Sephora. Zuck you, Crate and Barrel. Zuck you, on and on, all these companies that block VPNs. Netflix blocks everything that is not a corporate, that's not a home network. So if you try to run Netflix from an office, they'll block you too. They basically look at the IP range and says, oh, this is a corporate IP range, block. They don't really, it doesn't have to be a VPN. They just block anything that's not a home network. What are the home networks? Spectrum, Charter, on and on. No, I use a VPN to watch Star. Yeah, there are VPNs that do tricks to fake that so that you look like you're on a residential service. I don't bother with that. That's not important for security. So just turn off the VPN for that. We don't really care about Netflix. Netflix doesn't do anything to you. You're receiving data. You're not giving it data. If a person does a lot of transactions on online, let's say, and you have VPN, that will be a problem. No, incorrect. It's the reverse. If a person does a lot of transactions online, you want a VPN. It's in reverse. You want a VPN. Exactly. Not all banks do. Bank of America does. I'm so pissed off with that fucking bank. No, some bank. I don't think Wells Fargo blocks VPNs. Bank of America does. Zucked up. AT&T blocks VPNs. T-Mobile does not. Yeah. So go to the bank that does not block the VPN. Blocking a VPN is stupid. I think your idea is great, but it may cause problem doing problems, so that means I will have to turn on and off to VPN at times. No, you don't have to do that because you have two networks. MK. I don't know about Verizon. You have two networks. You plug this into the router, so you have your existing unencrypted Wi-Fi, and then you have your VPN Tor Wi-Fi. Just change as you need. Okay? They're both running at the same time. So in any household, you're always running both Wi-Fis, the VPN one and non-VPN one. And then you switch it by device to say, oh, I'm going to go use, I'm being blocked on a VPN, go to the non-VPN. You have a good bank, Doug. You have a good bank. Bank of America sucks. I want to make sure that people understand that the companies who ban VPNs are mother zuckers. How do you find out your bank blocks a VPN? You can't access it. Come on. Should be obvious. Yes. Bank of America, I guarantee you, blocks VPNs. They stated that. AT&T blocks VPNs. They state that too. These are stupid companies. Before you buy the VPN, well, what's your bank? If it's Bank of America, yes, they block VPNs. Otherwise, you have to just turn off the VPN when you're going to the bank, which means you're exposed to hackers. Sucked up. Sucked up. Oh, I'm going to use a VPN so that I can expose myself to hackers. Great. This is awesome stuff. Portable routers for personal hotspot. What switching, giving one connection point when out and about. Looking for solutions. When you're out and about, when you're up, AT&T, yes, I mentioned. When you're up and about, you install the VPN software on the device. So I have OpenVPN on my phone. So if I'm not in a house, I can use the VPN software. If I'm in a house, I don't need to because I have a VPN router. I don't have to think about it. I don't make a mistake. So if you're logging into the same network, you're always logging into the VPN. I'm on the VPN 99.99999% of the time. The only time I have to leave the VPN is to go to the bank some banks, and some stupid websites. That's about the only time. Otherwise, I'm always on a VPN or on Tor. But 99% of the time, I'm on Bytes VPN. I only go to Tor if I have something specific I got to research. I was able to go to Bank of America over a VPN just fine. I guarantee you, that one guy with a mustache, that will not work. can't. Come on, be serious, okay? Do not confuse putting a VPN on your router with having a VPN. Come on. The most useless thing I can imagine is to put a VPN on your own router. Because just IP address is the same. So what did you accomplish? If you put a VPN on your router, your IP address is exactly the same. So what are you hiding? Nothing. The point of a VPN is to hide your IP address. You don't need to put a VPN on your router means to encrypt the leg between you and the router. Well, who cares? You're inside your network anyway. Okay, just make that clear. Not trying to be facetious here, but some people don't understand that. So the purpose of putting a VPN on a router is typically for business use. So if you need to access your business network, typically they put a VPN on a router, so you have a VPN connection to the business, because they're not hiding their IP address, they're just locking down the internal system. So perhaps you're using it for that purpose, but it depends on the purpose. So for the purpose of commercial, for individual use, which is to hide the IP address of individuals from websites, then we need to make sure that the VPN is external and not connected to you in any way. So you need to mix it in with other people. And that is the purpose of a VPN is disinformation. The purpose of a business VPN is to encrypt access to the local network through the VPN. So a business use is completely different. That's what the router VPN is for. So you can buy an expensive router that has a VPN on the router, and that's for somebody from the outside trying to get into your network through the VPN. Oh, you mean you have a VPN router like I have? Yes, they sell that. Sorry, I misunderstood you, Wefucan. There are companies. One of them, if you want to buy somebody other companies, Wefucan is rich, so you can afford this. You can go to flashrouters.com and you can buy their VPN router for $4.99, $3.99 to $4.99. Okay. Yes, DDWRT from around $3.99, $4.99, even $5.99, $599. So from $399 to $599, go to flashrouters.com and you can buy their VPN router, just like Wefucan here, who is rich. He can afford that. Now for the rest of you, this is $149. Okay. So if you're rich, people pay for flashrouters.com with the big routers that cost $3.99. It's the same thing as this. It's the same thing. Okay? The only reason you buy those is because they have a bigger antenna. Well, I have one now. The only reason you buy from flashrouters.com is they have a bigger antenna. So there you go. $35. Add $35. Okay? They're all dual band. This is dual band too. Okay? So this is pretty cheap compared to flashrouter.com. Yeah, go. If you're asking me where to get the routers, yes, I'm advertising it to you, giving free advertising to flashrouters.com. Yes. It's only money. Wei Fu Can, why didn't you buy from me instead? Wei Fu Can doesn't like me. He will never buy my products. He said, well, I don't use VPNs. Well, apparently he said he uses VPNs, just not mine. I use routers. Well, I'm going to buy some other router, but just not mine. Okay. Uh, uh, OBFS proxy. What that sounds familiar, MK? That sounds familiar. How should I do that? How should you do what? One guy with a mustache. Do you want me to send you a screenshot? Okay, hold on. I was able to go to Bank of America over a VPN just fine. One guy with a mustache. You're trying to prove to me that you're saying that Bank of America supports VPNs? I was on the phone with him yesterday. Okay, in case they had to change the policy. I'm going to tell you right now, yesterday. And yeah, you can go to some parts of their website. You can go to some parts of their website. It will not block you, but it will block you at some other parts of their website. So it's kind of random. So they chose to block you at, as an example, they block you at bill pay. So I don't know. It's random. They block you at some stuff, not at others. Maybe it's because they subcontracted that part of their system to somebody else. In any case, I'm going to tell you, I was on the phone yesterday, and a guy from Bank of America stated to me yesterday, clearly, if you have a VPN, that's what's causing your problem. $700. Wei Fu Can said he has solutions. Yeah, exactly. From $3.99 to $6.99. So, if you want those solutions, you can. My solution is $149. Or add this for 35 more bucks. Optional. So, anyway. So, now if you're talking, unfortunately, you know, I have a lot of detractors and people, you know, don't believe in what I do here. And, you know, which is kind of like the tone of yesterday's broadcast. It's kind of disappointing when, you know, I'm trying to give you solutions and other people are saying, oh, you don't need to bother with VPNs and encryption and all that. It doesn't matter. It's very sad, you know, because and then they insult Snowden because, you know, because they work for Deep State. You love pizza. So they work for Deep State, so they insult Snowden. Well, Snowden gave me a lot of information, and I pick up everything he says because it's very helpful to somebody in my business. And, you know, if somebody cares about being surveilled and tells me information about it, then I'll take it. Now, if somebody says, I don't care about the surveillance, I'm not going to listen to that person because it has no value to me. So please don't listen to people who tell you that you don't need to care about encryption, that you do not care to worry about that your data leaks out to external parties. Please do not think like that. It's an indication that you're sheep. So if you want to be sheep, then go and have an attitude that you don't care. That's not what this channel is all about. This channel is about making you wolves, not sheep. By the way, Wei Fu Can is not a sheep. Wei Fu Can is pretty smart. He knows all about all this stuff. Wei Fu Can will hack you. So yeah, which kind of like I misunderstood his VPN comment, and it was kind of, I said that was inconsistent with what I know what Wei Fu Can, and then it got clarified. So no, Wei Fu Can is not. Wei Fu Can is very knowledgeable about all this. So anyway, if all of us who bought his book are on some list now. Simon, I did not buy his book. Simon, I read the book. I didn't buy it. Okay? You should have been smarter. I'm not on the list since I did not zucking buy the book. Every time I go to Tor, download Tor, I'm always on a VPN or on a Tor browser. So you don't go openly to Tor and download things because you're gonna get zucked. Right. Yep. We don't. We don't want to register ourselves. Besides, all your money, Simon, all the money you paid for Snowden's book just goes to the U.S. government. I took my cell phone apart and put it back together to get a stronger signal. What did you readjust your antenna? I'm not necessarily saying they fully support VPN, but prefer to arbitrarily block part of it, which I first thought BO was completely inaccessible if you use a VPN. Actually, they were more inaccessible. It's kind of, it's the same with AT&T. Parts of it work, parts of it don't work. They consider some systems more secure and they block VPNs. And it's crazy. It's completely illogical to me. It shows that some person in IT is so stupid at AT&T and Bank of America. I'm saying that they're very clear here in this broadcast. If somebody wants to take a snippet of what I just said here and put it on the airwaves and send a message to Bank of America, AT&T, Crate and Barrel, Sephora, I had a long list of them. All these companies that block VPNs. My statement to you, companies, you are mother zuckers because you do not care about your customers. You're basically telling us that we have to deprive ourselves of security and privacy. We have to go to use sucking Starbucks. So we're at the zucking Starbucks network or at the airport, and you want us to get zucking hacked because you block zucking VPNs. You are zucking stupid, you zucking companies. Zucking stupid. Also, hotspot networks will not allow VPNs. Well, you own the network. You can do anything you want. So don't use the hospital network then, because they want to spy on you. So if you're in a corporate world, if you're in a, let's say you work for, and I have no idea what the procedures are for some of these companies, so I'm just randomly going to say Ford Motor Company. Okay, so you're at Ford Motor Company and you access their network. Yeah, they're going to block VPNs likely because they want to spy on you to make sure that you do not send out company secrets. Okay, so yeah, so that's typical of any corporation. They do that because they don't really care about your privacy. Corporations do not care about your privacy. They care about their security. Cybersecurity is not equal to privacy. So we have to fight back. Okay? So if you're at the zucking hospital and their zucking network is doing that, then I give you a few tricks to confuse them. One of the tricks you can use if you go to a hospital and you want to use a secret system is use a Tor bridge. So there are ways. There are ways. MK, I'm the expert at HIPAA, so I'm going to tell you as an expert, it's zucking nonsense. Basically, you can qualify for HIPAA as long as you encrypt with DES. That's been hacked many years ago. Many years ago. Yes, a Tor bridge. If you have a Tor bridge, they don't know it's Tor. and then you can make it look like Skype. So use a Tor bridge, and you can configure a Tor bridge with Tor, a Tor browser, and you can still encrypt your traffic. So there are many possibilities here. Okay, so and you can set up your own. You can provide a service to others and say, "I'm going to offer you a Tor bridge, a secret Tor bridge," and you pass it on to friends. Say, "Okay, I'm going to make a Tor bridge for friends only." And then your traffic will be obscured, and you're going to use a port number. Make it look like Skype. Make it look like, something, obscure. So anyway, these are some of the options available to us. Just like the bad guys are looking for ways to take advantage of us, I can use my brain, which is reasonably good. I'm reasonable smarts in some of this, and I can always find a way out. So one of the ways that are available to us is if you're in Iran or China and you want to, they block VPNs in Iran and China and Saudi Arabia and all this. So they block VPNs. So Randy Horton will tell you, they block VPNs in Saudi Arabia. Tor bridge. I can set you up with a Tor bridge. And then, maybe I make it another service, Tor bridge service. And it could be just secretly given to people as a bridge, because you can then make it look like basically any software by port number. So, for example, RTMP, which we use for Periscope. What's the port number for RTMP? Like one of the ports is 53 something. So let's say it's 53 whatever. Random number here, 5300. I'm sure that's not the one. It's 53 something else. So let's say that's a port number. So you send your Tor traffic to that port, and then the bad guys, meaning governments, look at it and say, "Oh, you're doing Periscope," and then they don't know. Okay. So, and then from there, it's routing to Tor, and then it disappears in the Tor network, and there you go. And then, Snowden actually built one of those and offered it as a bridge. So he made a bridge. I can make bridges too. It's no big deal. So this is within our capabilities. So anyway, yes, Brax.me is where we can talk. If you everyone can share information on my tiny little app, which is not popular, but it's a very good app. It's Brax.me. It's private. It's encrypted by me, and which is why I love using it, because it's encrypted, and I know it's encrypted because I wrote it. And it's never been hacked. So, just come on to Brax and talk there if you want to talk to me or other people here. There's many... Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. So please support the program. I don't do this, so I can be rich. I'm not going to be rich. I already know that. So I make these little things, and, I make a tiny amount of money from these. Some of you give me super chats and super hearts and all these Patreon accounts and so on that help the program. I do appreciate that. I do this full time. I don't do anything else anymore. And I only make money from what I sell you here. So this is how we support the program. And if you use any of my products, my new camera was going to be out in a week. Week from now, we're going to make this, you can order. We'll probably open the doors for ordering probably over next weekend. Then you can start ordering these. And they're, as you can see, very good products. Very well made. Okay, these are all built here, custom made. Rob.brax.me. 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 Including, you can order a VPN there too. rob.brax.me. If you want to learn about the VPN, you go to bytesvpn.com. If you want to order it, rob.brax.me. Don't like it. You are not being attacked. Then good for you. Don't like it. You're not. What does that mean, Sonny? Don't like it. You're not being attacked. Then good for you. Oh boy, I'm lost with that comment, Sunny Moon. You may have to rephrase that. You're tired of the BS with corporations. MK, especially if you work with hospitals. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to look back. Previous comment from Sunny Moon. Okay. Oh, Sunny is reacting to the corporate ones. So anyway, interact with a lot of I interact with a lot of nonprofits. Was an answer to yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. I didn't realize it wasn't addressed to me. Okay. So anyway, my friends, thank you for your support, and we're hoping that the channel grows every month here. I only started this YouTube channel 9 months ago. I've had I have the account, but I hadn't really started using it until 9 months ago. So for 9 months of work, and we're here at 3,000 subs, and likely 6,000 subs after 1 year. So we're shooting for 6,000 subs at the end of the year. That in 1 year, that is awesome. That is, those are very, very good results. So that's what we're shooting for, 6,000 subs after 1 year, and then maybe hopefully 10,000 subs by February or something. Okay, so if we can accomplish that here, then this channel will thrive, and I can continue and give you information that I can. Hello, Dutch Maz. Thank you, Dutch Maz. Thank you for inviting me over to YouTube and spending my time, my efforts in here. Thank you, Arg. Okay, so again, you can always chat with me on Brax.me, or chat with Great Gold and chat with others on Brax.me. Thank you so much. Why did that block Starlight? I thought it was spam, huh? Oh, because you were using the word over and over. Starlight, when you repeat a word over and over, they think it's spamming. Thank you, Sunny Moon. Thank you very much. So this is the last live stream of the week on YouTube, but there is a live stream on Tuesday, which is a jam session. So if you go to Periscope on Tuesday, I will have a jam session. We're playing music. So that's on Tuesday, jam session Tuesday. If you want to listen to some music, because I'm a musician, so want to listen to that, it'll be on Tuesday. And then I'll be producing videos in the middle of the week, and then we'll back live streaming again next Friday. And then, as I said, these products will be, the camera and the alarm will be available by next weekend. This is available now. Bytes VPN is also available every day. Okay, so thank you. So I'll see you on Periscope in a couple days on Tuesday. Where's Periscope? Forget about Periscope, Sunny Moon. Don't worry about it. If you're not on Periscope, you don't have to worry about that. Okay, good night.